Kellie Nakahara, and here are today's top Hawaii headlines from the editors at the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. 2 Honolulu police officers have been cleared in the fatal shooting of a man who ran at them while wielding a machete. Prosecuting attorney Steve said Wednesday that officers were justified in using deadly force against 41-year-old Elia La'eli. The incident occurred in the early morning hours of August 11th when officers responded to an assault call on North School Street. La'eli had allegedly jumped out from behind a dumpster and cut off the finger of a man who was walking with his girlfriend. The suspect later approached the pair as they were being interviewed by police. Officers instructed La'eli to drop the weapon which he was still holding, but the suspect ignored the commands and walked to a car, opening the driver's side door. He slammed the door and ran at the first officer while swinging the machete above his head. Officers fired 12 shots at La'eli, hitting him 9 times. An autopsy determined La'eli had methamphetamine, amphetamine, and cannabis in his system when he was shot. He had 7 prior arrests, including 1 felony and a prior conviction for harassment. Foodland is exiting the pharmacy business and will be closing all 7 of its pharmacy locations by mid-April. Foodland Chairman and CEO Janai Wall announced the change on Wednesday. She said lower margins and rising costs have led to the increased losses for the company. As part of the move, Foodland will confidentially transfer existing prescriptions to CVS Health's Longtime pharmacies. The transfer will be done electronically and automatically, so customers can continue to fill their prescriptions without disruption at the Longtime location of their choice. When customers visit Long's to refill a prescription, their information will already be in the company's centralized system. No action is required, and calls to Foodland pharmacies will be routed to Long's for 90 days after closing. The Foodland pharmacies in Waimea, Laie, and Sakinsave and Pu'inako are scheduled to close on April 11th, followed by Foodland Kapole's pharmacy on April 12th and pharmacies at Foodland Kailua and Pukalani on April 13th. The pharmacy at Foodland Princeville will be the last to close on April 14th. Honolulu's former chief attorney entered a not guilty plea on Wednesday to new charges that she lied to FBI agents about disgraced HPD Chief Louis Kealoha's settlement package. Donna Leong served as the city's corporation counsel from 2013 to 2019. Last week, the Justice Department filed new allegations against Leong, claiming she lied about who she spoke with and how she organized Kealoha's $250,000 resignation agreement. Leong allegedly told FBI agents that the acting Honolulu police chief at the time, Kerry Okimoto, had nothing to do with the payout, never communicated with her about it, and did not protest until after it was done. She also made alleged false statements regarding then Assistant Chief William R. Axe and Deputy Corporation Counsel Dwayne Pang. The charges arrived 3 months after the December indictment of Leong, former Managing Director Roy Amamiya, and former Honolulu Police Commission Chair Max Sword. The former officials are accused of conspiring to defraud the government by paying Kealoha to voluntarily leave HPD without first clearing the agreement with the City Council. Amamiya and Sword were not charged in the Justice Department's new filing. Leong's attorney called the new allegations false and said Leong plans to fight them in court. Alejandro Haban, a longtime mechanic at Dole and one of the last living cicadas in Hawaii, died on February 17th in Lanai City. He was 95. Haban immigrated to Hawaii from Ilocos Sur in the Philippines and was part of the last wave of cicadas, or first-generation Filipinos recruited for plantation labor between 1906 and 1946. His family said he was one of the last living cicadas in the state. At 18, Haban applied for immigration papers with his older brother in search of a better life. He arrived on Lanai on April 29, 1946, 26 days after boarding the USS Manawili from the Philippines. After arriving in the islands, Haban would send money home to his family in the Philippines and served as the sponsor for his 3 younger brothers to immigrate to Hawaii. After working the fields at Dole for 3 months, he transferred to the engineering department and took night classes to learn the basics of mechanics. After earning his mechanic license, Haban worked as a mechanic at Dole for nearly 50 years before retiring in 1993. Haban is survived by his wife, Maria, 8 children, 14 grandchildren, and 25 great-grandchildren. The Hawaii Department of Health is investigating 2 cases of Legionnaires disease in guests who stayed at a hotel in Waikiki. DOH said 2 visitors to the islands were diagnosed following a stay at the Grand Islander by Hilton Grand Vacations. The first case was diagnosed in June 2021 and the second case on March 6 or 7. Legionnaires disease is a serious type of pneumonia caused by exposure to Legionella bacteria, which are found in freshwater environments. The bacteria can spread through water systems like showerheads, sink faucets, cooling towers, hot tubs, and large plumbing systems. Symptoms include cough, shortness of breath, fever, muscle aches, and headache, and usually begin within 2 to 14 days of exposure. According to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the disease is treated with antibiotics, and people generally do not spread it to others. DOH said it is still investigating the exact source of the illness and how far it spread. For more on these stories and all the latest headlines, subscribe to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser. Visit Hawaii's top source for breaking news online at staradvertiser.com and download the Star-Advertiser mobile app. Mahalo, have a great day, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.